Hey YouTube, when you're just getting started building out your tool collection, whether it's for doing a wood shop like I have down here, or even just getting tools for around the house, there's a million different tools that you need to buy, and oftentimes it gets confusing on when you should spend a little bit more money to get the nicest tool that you can afford, or when it's okay to get more of a budget option and maybe build up your collection with a more robust option later on. Well, today we're going to cover the first 5 tool purchases that I made or gifts that I was given, and what I like about them, what I would do differently if I could do it again, and where it's worth spending a little bit extra money and getting something that's going to last you a little bit longer. So let's get into that today on Tinker with Tools. So roughly 6 years ago, my wife came to me one day and wanted me to make her a table for our new house that we were building. We didn't have a dining room table currently, and we knew we'd want one, and so she had found a set of plans that she liked that said we could build a table in one day for roughly $60. Well, after well over $60 and roughly 4.5 months, we did have a table, and I found a new passion and hobby, both with tools and with making stuff. And over the years, I've been able to make a lot of different things for our house, including some mudroom lockers, another table, some cabinetry in different places around the house, and a desk that I work from every single day. So what tools did I buy that helped me get along that journey? Well, let's cover those today. Alright, so the first tool that I got that predated the table by a number of years was actually a Hitachi 18-volt drill. Now, I no longer have that drill. It got to a point where it wouldn't hold a charge very well, and it was just cheaper to replace it with a more powerful modern option. And I actually have another one here today to kind of show you that good old green from Hitachi, now known as Metabo HPT. Now, a couple of things I really liked about it was that it was a good quality drill. Fell off a ladder more than once, kept on going. So if you're looking to get a new drill, or a drill is one of your first tool purchases, just make sure you get a good quality one. That doesn't mean you have to buy the most expensive, but just get one that you think is going to last, that has a good reputation. Another nice thing about that first one is it actually came with 2 batteries, and so that's something I would definitely recommend or look for as you're looking for a new tool purchase. Batteries can be expensive, and so getting a second one so you can keep working even when the first one dies makes a big difference. Now, a drill is a highly versatile tool to use as your first power tool purchase, and it actually can give you a lot of functionality, whether it's drilling holes in different materials or fastening things together with screws and different other fasteners. Alright, so the next major tool purchase that I had was actually another gift from my dad, and that was a corded circular saw. Now, this one from Bosch is the original one I got from my dad roughly 6 years ago, and it has been a great saw. Now, what do I like about this saw? The Bosch has a really good build quality. Everything feels really sturdy, strong, and it's got really good power that can go through just about anything I've thrown at it. Put a good quality blade on there, it'll serve you well. And this is one area where I would recommend getting a good quality corded model over getting a lower quality cordless option, as it will give you the more power to get through the job. And typically, depending on what you're cutting, a circular saw can be attached to a cord and still not inhibit you that much. The circular saw can be paired with a variety of jigs and give you really good flexibility and make a lot of different projects a reality just because of that one saw. Alright, now the next purchase that was made was actually that of a random orbit sander. Initially, I got a corded Black & Decker model. It's since been replaced by a different corded model and now a cordless option as well. Now, these cordless models are actually pretty good nowadays, but they do chew through batteries a lot. So if you can only have one, I would recommend getting a decent quality corded model over getting a cordless one. This cordless one costs $80 to $90, I believe, somewhere in there. You can get similar ones from most of the major brands, but then you're talking about getting several batteries on top of it, and those batteries do cost quite a bit of money. The corded models, that Black & Decker one I think was $30 to $40, but you can actually get a really nice one from Bosch. That's one I've got now. That Bosch one was actually only about $60 on sale and is a much better sander to use. It still takes away good material, but the vibrations are managed just a whole lot better on that tool. It actually makes it a really good option for you. And sanding is one of those things where oftentimes you're going to be doing it for more than just a few minutes. And so sometimes having that cord and that, continuous source of power is going to be a better option. All right, tool number 4 was actually one of the bigger purchases that I had made to that point, and that was of a table saw. Now, I fell into a little bit of I need a saw for right now. I don't want to go over to my dad's house to use his. So looking through a Black Friday ad, I actually found a Kobalt Table Saw on sale for Black Friday at $189. I talked my father-in-law into paying for half of it since he was going to be using it some too, and I went and picked it up that very same day. It's a very basic saw. It does what I need it to, but it doesn't do anything really all that well. Although it has a nice stand that stores away nice and easy, saving the amount of space that it takes up in a limited space garage, the stand, when fully set up, actually doesn't provide a whole lot of stability for the saw, and pushing through a thicker piece of lumber can actually cause the saw to tip over a little bit. Really dangerous when you got a spinning blade there. Now, the other deal breaker for me with this saw that makes it something I'm actually looking to replace currently is the fence system. The fence is a little bit flimsy, really hard to get set up square, and even when you do get it set up square, it's really hard to be sure you've got it exactly square. And I've actually ended up pinching the board a little bit on the way out of the blade and actually getting really close to having some nasty kickbacks a couple of times. The fence system just isn't reliable to get good, accurate, repeatable measurements, and so ultimately that's why I'm looking to replace it. Now, if all you're doing is cutting some light-duty sheet goods and ultimate precision isn't necessarily your goal, it actually is a pretty serviceable table saw and can be had for a pretty good deal on those Black Friday sales. There's similar models from Ryobi and even some of the other brands at Harbor Freight that can give you a decent quality table saw that can get the job done. It just depends on how nice it is going to be at doing it. Currently looking at a couple of different table saws, still in kind of the contractor saw style, just because of how little space I've got for storing a tool like that, but one that will actually give me a little bit more functionality and a lot more stability when I use it. This is one area where I wish I had spent that little bit more money, saved up a little more, done my homework a little bit better, just to get the right option right out of the gate. Now, the last major purchase in my first 5 was this miter saw right here, or actually the miter saw that this one replaced. I initially got a Hitachi 12-inch non-sliding compound miter saw. Now, that first Hitachi miter saw was a great saw. I actually ended up selling it to a family member and upgrading to this one just for a little bit greater cross-cut capacity on it. Both saws work great, and when paired with a good blade, they go through material and don't give you any trouble on that. Now, would I buy this particular saw again, or even the one before it? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. First and foremost, one thing you need to understand is a 12-inch blade is really expensive. When you start getting into a good quality blade, they can easily run you $50, $60, $70 or more. And if you want to have a different blade for different jobs, that adds up really quick. A 10-inch blade a 10-inch miter saw is a little bit more expensive to get into up front, but the 10-inch blades can be as much as $15 less, and even greater if you find them on sale. That to me is a big difference. Now, if you get a 10-inch sliding miter saw, you'll notice that that miter saw is actually typically more expensive than a good 12-inch model. I don't know why that is, but for example, with Hitachi, the 10-inch sliding miter saw usually runs about $350 to $400 on sale, whereas this one can be had for about $300, and that first non-sliding model I had was actually only $200. Now, other than the blade, the only other thing that I wish this one had that others do is actually having the shadow line for where your cut's going to be versus the laser system. The laser system's pretty good, and you actually get to know it and can kind of guess where your cuts are, but the shadow system is just so much easier to read and know exactly where that blade's going to come down and where your cut's going to end up. Overall, I've been extremely pleased with Hitachi Metabo HPT. This one is actually a Hitachi as well, but they sell the exact same model now as a Metabo HPT. They're great saws, they offer good power, and I think they're really good options. The other nice thing about this one is it's actually a forward rail design, so instead of having to take up a lot of room behind it, like with the older rigid model or even some of the DeWalt models, this one can get pushed up pretty close to the wall and actually save you a lot of space, especially in a small shop like this one. So there you have it, the first 5 major tool purchases that I made and how I liked each and every one of them. Ultimately, wouldn't change a whole lot of things, but let me know down in the comments if you would change something about how you did it, or if you have a different path that you took, let me know what you prioritized and how you made your decisions. I think ultimately as we make different tool purchases, we learn a lot about what we like and don't like, and that information can be incredibly valuable to someone who's just starting out on this journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Tinker with Tools. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see the next video I put out. And if you'd like to watch another one right now, I've got one queued up right here for you. Thanks for sticking around.